Feelings are something that is so vital to us as humans. And there's something I've noticed about the way we often use this stimulation or this vitality to keep us in sort of this dramatic loop of being activated or turned on in a sense, right? It's like there's a switch that turns us on. Oh, I'm stimulated. I'm intrigued. I'm mad. I got to go do something. I'm Jen Duchenne of jenduchenne.com, and I'm all about working with my clients and putting that information out there about expressing oneself. It's the highest level of being here. And our emotions are really what stir us to do things. And we're often stirred by something that happens outside of us. Our emotions, our feelings are energy moving through our body. And they get stuck in places where we feel a sense of lack or incompleteness. So, for example, in my case, when I was a little baby, my mother was a Dr. Spock, what do you call, follower. And she believed that when a baby was crying in their cot or crib, you just let them cry and then they'd put themselves to sleep. And it makes a lot of sense that you would learn to self-soothe. But when you're a baby crying, it's like being an adult. You're crying, I need help, and nobody comes. So what does that say about you? Or what does it say about the other? That's kind of how we look at emotions. We look at it through the space of if I have a feeling and people don't respond in the way that makes me feel loved or makes me feel uh, worthy or valued or listened to or all those things, then it must mean either something's wrong with me or something's wrong with them. And then that leads to stories of feelings inside of ourselves that are not, that hook us into this idea of being in lack. I don't have that. I never got that. Therefore, this is true about me. I didn't get picked up when I was a baby. Therefore, I'm unloved. I'm unwanted. And that could be a thread that runs through your life. And it links you to your emotions. Because at the end of the day, emotion, which is emotion, is energy. And this energy that's inside of us that tells us things about ourselves is if I ask for something, or I want something, or I need something, and somebody outside says, no, you can't have it for some reason, or I am being dismissed or said no to or forced to jump through hoops, or I feel anger, I feel something inside of me, and then I'm like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to, push harder. I'm going to retreat. I'm going to hide, all of these things. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to tell everybody about it. There's this thing that is very excited inside of us to think that I am stimulated by this activity, this rejection of my feelings, or the other, that I am stimulated, activated by the acceptance of my feelings. I feel this, people are responding, it's happy, it's all going the way I want. There's this like, oh my God, I must be so loved. I'm so grateful. What have I done to deserve it? So there's this sense of moving on a roller coaster of emotion because of something outside of us. So when we look at something like a plant, for example, or flower, when the sun shines on a flower, it opens. When it goes through a season, it begins to open and move into this responsive stimuli. It recognizes something's happening. Oh, I feel good. The sun's shining on me. Or, oh, here's a bee. I want to send out my scent. So it's the same thing, but it's done a little differently. And in this um, episode, I want to talk about how most of us are activated through external stimuli. And that can be great. We do need to be aware of our surroundings. Oh, I need to respond. Something's happening. I need to respond. But that response is inside of us. We need to respond how we can, right? So in the beginning, if we have a certain experience, and at the beginning, in the now, in the awareness of having a certain response, we choose. Okay, I feel stimulated. Now I'm going to get angry. I'm going to demand something. I'm going to tell somebody what I think about them, or whatever it is, right? Or I'm going to retreat and say nothing. And I'm going to tell my friends what a terrible person they are. Or, wow, can you believe that amazing thing happened to me? And that is putting the emphasis on the external. Like, I'm just asleep until some external thing happens to wake me up. It's like that fairy tale, which I think the fairy tales that we have are very powerful fables to awaken inside of us awareness about ourselves, just like things like the Bible, parables, stories. They help us, just the stories we love reading. Movies, we love it because it helps us understand ourselves and understand the bigger picture. And that's amazing, right? That's so incredible. And the thing is, like that fable, Sleeping Beauty, this is like the desire of knowing ourselves, of being true to the love that is part of who we are, the acceptance, the wholeness, uh, the fullness of being ourselves without feeling that sense of lack. Oh, there's something wrong with me. I need to, prove something, or I need to do something or I need to get a certain reaction so I know that I'm okay. And that Sleeping Beauty, sleeping sort of in this bramble, completely lost to the world until this prince comes, and everyone in the village and through the world talks about the mystery of this sleeping beauty until this only prince that can brave through because he has a pure heart can get through and kiss her and awaken her to herself, right? This is what happens. We're waiting for someone, something pure of heart, someone who is willing to, defy all odds to prove that they believe in us. And the truth is, who needs to believe in us to that extent, to know we're that connected to the divine, to the earth, to whatever you believe is the essence or the energy of where you are within yourself. We are the ones that have to find that. We are the ones that have to play both roles, right? We have to play the role of the Sleeping Beauty and the role of this brave prince who is so mystified and intrigued by this part of ourselves that's asleep, that is waiting to feel that love. And the love comes not from us reacting to what's happening outside us. I mean, it is important to show that we're not just going to take any behavior from anyone. We're not just going to accept what someone else gives us. We want to express ourselves. We want to say, I want this, not that. It's kind of, okay, we're in the grand universe restaurant. I'm ordering this, I'm ordering that. Why did you send me this? It's wonderful, right? To be invited to know about ourselves from the external. And it is powerful because it is part of our growth. How do we move through difficult times? In some sense, we could say every experience we have has a difficult component and an easy component. The difficult component is when we don't express what we really feel. So we hide how we feel, we disguise it in some way because either we don't recognize what's happening inside us, or we think this is safer or better or whatever reason we decide to accept what is really unacceptable to us, right? We don't feel good about this, but we compromise. We go, okay, I'll take it. This is all, that's the only thing on offer. You got me. I'm giving up, or I'm going to keep battling till I fall over exhausted and I can't move anymore. But there is another way to work with our emotion. And this way requires us to pay attention. So for me, for example, uh, when I was completing, I've just moved. So in the process of moving, there's a lot of things that need to be dealt with. And so one of the things I had to deal with was closing off my services and returning my Wi-Fi box. And I just left that to the last day thinking, well, there isn't much to do. You just let them know and then they just do it. And a few days later, it's done. Well, I was wrong about that. And so I tried to return the box and discovered that I couldn't return the box. This was not so easy. There's like a whole process. You have to jump through all these hoops and all this stuff happens. And there were blocks and things in the way. So when this happened, I was patient and then I was impatient because it took so long and nothing was happening. I was so mad. And the beauty about being mad is I was so happy I could feel my feelings and express how I feel. And that was amazing, right? My frustration, I felt justified getting mad and and being indignant. And it did get me to do the things I needed to do because I wanted it to be over, right? I couldn't just hang, oh, well, this box, they're not listening to me and I don't know what to do. Nothing's happening. I'm trying all these things. So I kept trying and doing all these things. And eventually I actually did get to a process where I was like, okay, now you can close it and return the box. And then I returned the box and they said, no, we won't take this box because it's too early. You can't bring it before this date. And at that point, I had processed so much of this emotion that I felt mad for about a moment and then I just let it go. And why I share this story is because when I went through that process, it wasn't just my external experience and my pissed offness with this company that wouldn't take the box or make this easy. They made it so hard. I had to jump through all these hoops. I felt accomplished. I went through all these hoops. You didn't stop me, right, from getting to the end of this. And it wasn't easy. I had to keep pushing, but I felt like, wow, this is amazing. I also was very aware of how I had been so caught up in that feeling of being played. And it made me realize how many of us look to being played or being, having that, the opposite of being in the game together. Yeah, we're doing it. Isn't this amazing? All of those things uh, often rely on external energy. There are many people who believe that without feeling those things, having those irritations that get us to respond and do something, that we wouldn't feel anything. And I'm here to tell you that is not true. Because when we can know our feelings, when we can understand, like, oh, I'm having this situation, like me, I'm having this situation of impatience because I want this thing over. And if they're not listening to me or not doing what I want in the time that I wanted, that, you know, I'm mad, and I'm this and I'm that. And it does create this external energy and internal impact from an external experience. But I get to choose how I want to feel about it. Do I need those dramatic moments to feel? No, I don't. I am a hugely feeling person. I am so empathic. I know so many people I work with who come or connected to me are extremely empathic. And one of the um, challenges of being so empathic is you feel everything. So probably throughout your life, you were told you're too much, you're over exaggerating, you're making a mountain out of a molehill, and inside of you, it felt so big, like putting on socks and screaming because you can feel the line of the sock irritating you inside, and your parents going like, "What's the big deal?" Right? I had that experience. My daughter had that experience, but I knew what it was when she had it because I remembered how I felt about it. So external stimuli can begin, it's like needles on your skin sometimes. And learning, I had to teach myself how to come to terms with that. So I'm not available to everyone else's external stimuli, that I'm paying attention to my internal stimuli. What am I feeling? What's happening inside of me? Where's there a place of lack? Where's there a place of not being in mastery? I want to be in mastery so I can express myself very clearly, so I can really get to the bottom of why I want something, why I need to say something, why this is important. I don't want to just be poked and every time there's something, zoom, and I'm like, oh, let me jump up and go do something. Let me say something. Let me tell people what they need to think. I don't think that's the most evolved path. You can feel everything that's inside of you, and you can be a clearer channel of your own feelings and your own awareness, which can expand your growth exponentially because you're not listening to all the other signals that are about other people wanting stimulation and prodding to get a certain response. And that's when you need to choose, do I need to keep these patterns inside of me, like the belief that if I'm not stimulated by something outside of me, somebody doing something wrong, something, the world not caring, that I need that. I need that proof in order to go and show them how I care. When I feel like if I care, I need to do the thing I believe in. I don't need somebody to push it on me to say that this is happening. If I believe in something, in an emotional response, in opening my heart to people in need or people who have felt lack or are suffering, I don't need that external stimulation to prove to me that I need to behave a certain way. I need to be there with that energy and choose the path of what I want to do with how I feel. What do I want to do? How do I want to act with this? What's inside of me that is being stimulated, awoken? What's that prince kissing my lips that's asking me to go, I feel something inside me. I feel like I need to go and protect someone else because I wasn't protected. But how can I feel safe and protected inside of me so I'm not constantly being zapped by external energies, which throws me out of myself? To be so true to yourself is something incredibly powerful. And this is part of evolving with the energy by becoming more familiar with your own emotion and being willing to open yourself to the parts inside of you that feel incomplete, unheard, unexpressed, that want to be brought out and go, yeah, I feel that. I feel like I miss that energy. And so how can I know that for myself? How can I give that to myself? How can I know that I'm loved? Even if it looked like the people who I was with as a child didn't seem to love me because of their actions. Like I know my parents love me very much. And because they could not express it, does that mean that I must live my life feeling unloved? Or does that mean the love is still there and it doesn't need to come directly through my parents or through that connection or belief, but that it can come, and I prefer it to come to me as something pure, purely divine and very grounded, something that helps me understand on a daily basis that no matter what's happening, when I'm going to return my box and the company won't take it, that this is not a rejection of me. It's not saying you did the wrong thing or that you're a bad person or you don't deserve to return it. There's nothing to do with me except as a stimulus for me to examine what is coming up in me that says I don't have enough, I'm not listened to, whatever. What am I needing outside to prove I'm loved? And why? Why would I need an external person or thing to show me something that is an absolute truth? I am loved, regardless of how people behave. Nothing can take that away, but I have to be in that place to recognize that if I do feel lack, if I do feel unheard, if I feel the need to push myself on something, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with any of those things. If I feel that I need to do it, then I will do it until that place where I go, oh, I think I've completed that. I've mastered that part that was in lack. I filled in that gap. I had a gap. I felt like there was a leak inside of me, a leaky window inside of me that was open, and drafts were coming in and saying, in this space, when people say this is not, then you are not enough. Then you're not loved. Then you need to shout louder, make more noise. You need to convince people. When we come to this place where we're on the journey with change, when we're evolving into being the ones who carry truth forward, in spite of the lies we hear around us, right? In spite of the lies we tell ourselves. And we can hold that light, that truth. So eventually, the light fills us. It starts maybe in a tiny place, a tiny corner of ourselves, and just spreads and fills us. And then we can shine light for others. We can't force our ideas on others. We can't make them see what we see. But we can hold what is true, the light of love within us, so clearly, so boldly, so truthfully, that it fills us and the light spills over into other spaces. And that is how we evolve through our emotions. I'd love to hear what you think about this. What are your thoughts? Share with me. Tell me if you have any questions. If you've enjoyed this, please like, follow, share. Let's spread the energy of joy. The power within us is extraordinary. So we have to find that within ourselves. For me personally, it's been a journey, and I know that for many of us, it's a journey, it's a lifetime. It is something that we are dealing with, struggling with, finding the absolute incredible joy of discovery. Oh my God, I just had that experience of shifting. For me, that's where it's so powerful and so beautiful. I can go give my box back and only have a moment of energy, of feeling something frustrating. And then it's gone because, oh, well, this has nothing to do with me. This is just the rule of how this is. And so I can express my pride in what I've done, my accomplishment. I can recognize it. I can recognize me, how far I've traveled through these few weeks by choosing how I want to respond and growing in my mastery. All right, let's pull apart. We really are living in extraordinary times. This is the nature of being human, is that we need extraordinary times, which means extraordinary difficult, extraordinary challenging times to come to another level of mastery. I've just pulled a card from the Illuminating Journey deck, and I love that it's the 33. This is so powerful. The 33 is a powerful card. The image of this card, I love it because it shows the figure, you, in the middle of the energy of your emotion, knowing that this is a current of energy, that there is so much available to you that you can keep these balls dancing in the air as long as you need them, and then just let them go when you're done. Let them drop. Choose the lightness or the path or wherever. There is no restriction about where you want to go. You choose. But then with the choice comes whatever comes, the lessons, the experiences, the pain, the joy, the realizations. It all comes with the choices we make. And even when we don't make choices, there's consequence or results or experience that comes with it's a package, right? It's a package deal. Mastery and evolution is a package. And if you have these tools that I'm sharing with you, you will find the road easier. You will find that companionship. You will find that ease, those moments when you can sit down and rest and take off your shoes or put your feet in the water, feel the warmth of another, feel the beauty of yourself, of you, your light, the hand of the divine, the support of the earth. Incredible. The number 33 is also very powerful. It is the teacher's number. It is the number of vertebra in our spine. So to hold us upright, to receive and be true to what we are experiencing. It really is recognizing what is coming through me that I need to hold in the light of love, so I can support myself being more connected to me, being upright, being that conduit between heaven and earth, between the cosmos and the core of this land we are on. Ah, wishing you so much love. May you be filled with the lies of your own wonderful feelings, expression.